Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to the Big Blue Offensive Podcast with Mike Trainer, Jay Jules, and John Depot. Hey, what's up, Giants fan? Welcome to the Big Blue Offensive Podcast. I am Mike. That is Jules. That is John. Guys, we took last week off, but we're back this week because we're going to have our show today. Then we're going to go live and record our show for the NFL draft that's coming up Thursday. And we're going to debut a little thing called Haters Club today that I'm going to star in the Haters Club. I'm going to shout out a couple guys that pretty much either debated me or hated me. So a little debate and hate. So I'm going to shout them out and get into it. So I'll read a tweet of mine that sparked maybe a little outrage or a little debate. But we'll shout those guys out after our first commercial break. But Jules, before I go to you, I just want to give a quick shout out to like everybody that's been listening to the podcast, man. All the countries and places around the world besides the United States. Obviously, we got India, United Kingdom, Germany, France, Israel, Mexico. Shout out to those guys. Thanks for listening. We appreciate you guys. And
absolutely, yeah, please. That is definitely appreciated without a doubt.
And that's fucking wild, man.
Yeah, that's
every time
awesome.
you do this, every couple of weeks, you like list some countries, and it just blows my mind.
Yeah, it's pretty wild,
awesome.
Man. So what?
Definitely appreciate it.
What topics, Jules? What else we got to?
Well, listen. You know what? The major topics aren't too many because obviously everything's going to be circulating around the draft, which is now days away. But there were a couple of news that needed to be sort of covered, I guess, before we get down to the nitty gritty and some of our picks and odds favorites and all the good stuff that's going to be coming on Thursday night. Obviously, since the last time we were on, the Giants went out and signed tight end Jordan Akins. The guy was on Houston for a while. I think it's a good depth add, in my opinion. I'll give you guys a moment to comment on that in a second. You know what? He always showed some promise in Houston. Listen, he's not going to be one of these overwhelming tight ends that are going to come in and light up the scoreboard or be any kind of like true and serious red zone threat. But when you have him and you have Sills and those two guys, and I believe there's a couple of them that are on the roster right now, it puts less pressure on the Giants to have to go out and get a tight end for the draft this year, right? So look, in my opinion, the way it looks is, at least again and again, I'm going to get you guys comment in a moment. But it looks to me as if the Giants are kind of set what they have a tight end. And if one of these other tight ends that are in college, one of these top guys fall to them at the right opportunity, maybe with that like second, third round pick or in the fourth round, and it's one of the guys they had on the board, that's probably where we'll go with a tight end, if any, right? I don't see us going any higher than that. There were certain, times of speculating where you were like, maybe with that second round or, the high third round pick. But at this point in time, with that signing, I think we're done at tight end. I think we're serviceable enough there, especially if we go out and get like, one or two offensive pieces in the draft. What are you guys feeling with that?
Well, I picked up the Houston tight end like last year because, in fantasy football, sometimes you just need a tight end because there's not that many of them. I think I had him for like one game, just hoping he catch like two balls. So obviously like it's a depth piece, and who I like in the NFL draft is Isaiah Likely. I'm hoping Giants get him in the fourth or fifth round. I don't think it'll be any earlier than that, but
Yeah, I agree. I think I could definitely see us drafting a tight ends, and if there's one worthy, I could even see us doing it as early as like the third round. But obviously we're not going to do it beforehand. But I've always been a big fan of Caden Smith, and I don't even know if he's on the roster right now, but if he is, I would really like to see him get more like featured and see what he can do, because the time that he did play, he played well enough and he made plays. Like he caught the ball, he got open, like he made plays when it counted. I don't remember him really dropping any passes. Apparently he's serviceable enough at blocking where they can keep him on the field for however long he was there. I don't want them to do anything crazy, getting some big name or drafting somebody high. I'd rather just see what Caden Smith can do, get somebody in the mid rounds. And
he was waived, John. He was waived for that injury designation. So unless he comes back in camp, which is a possibility, but as right now he's waived, and with a new regime, I don't expect him coming back. But you're kind of right with how the Giants kind of utilize their tight ends. They seem to always find one, no matter what. Obviously besides Evan Ingram, he could forget about him.
You know what it is too with that, just to kind of wrap that up is, at this time with everything, all the other glaring needs, trying to get things right, trying to get guys that fit in the system, trying to find their Dawson Knox, I guess, right? Like, like Travis Kelce, Dawson Knox. I mean, these tight ends did become a big part of these former coaches' offenses. So you never know, right? And again, like, maybe they'll surprise us, but to me, it feels like, at least with this year's draft, that they want to kind of go out and address other positions and kind of say, look, if we got to bring in a couple of veteran tight ends here that can be serviceable, get the job done, make a catch when they're open, block as needed. That's kind of what they're going with. I don't know. Like I said, to me, that signing kind of indicated to me that I can't see them going any earlier in the fourth round for a tight end. Maybe they get one. You never know. Maybe a Ferguson or somebody like that drops. Like there are guys that are pretty decent that have some promise there that could be going off in that third, fourth round. Yeah. But it was crazy though, because literally about a week ago, right? Like go all week long, man. I was ready to pop on and do with Jules' shorts and start going bananas. And I got a little distracted and work and this and that. And like I kind of let it go and I wanted to see how it unfolded. But my man James Tony. Darius Tony. That was a Freudian slip right there. Thinking about boxing for some odd reason. But no. My man KT Tony, right? Kadarius. He was MIA again from these fucking workouts where, like, it was fine, it's voluntary and all this bullshit and going back and forth. But it's like, dude, your teammates, your friends, the media, all this shit, Twitter, this, that, everything on bananas saying that you should be there unless you have a legitimate excuse. You know where to be found. Then you go another whole week. You know where to be found again. No, nothing. No one's sticking up for you. You had Coach Dable had to come out and say that the guy didn't even have a playbook yet. And then all of a sudden, this is why, like, and this is definitely going to lead into some more of this smoke screening that I think is actually taking place on this Shane. But all of a sudden, it was Kadarius Toney's being shopped for trades, and that's what kind of stopped me from doing Jules and Shorts, because I was like, yo, this dude might get traded over the weekend. And then magically, guys, who shows up to voluntary practices today?
KT.
And he's out there telling me, fuck you. And he's like a big tough guy now. And he's got his. So, guys, look, someone's got to tweet out to me if you guys don't notice. But, yo, why does my man always wear some weird ass headpiece?
Yeah, I love it.
Out with the red one on today, dude.
You look like a chicken.
Dude, this shit don't make no sense.
You look like a chicken today. If you check his Instagram and shit, like, yo, first of all, I don't want KT to get traded. Like, you remember last year during the NFL draft, I said he was Tyreek 2.0, and people laughed at me. But now you've seen that all on fucking social media. Everybody's fucking talking about it. He's got a good game, man. If he stays healthy, man, sky's the limit for that fucking kid. I just hope he's like doesn't get too distracted by some media clowns. You know who they are, man. It's a typical same old people trying to bring these fucking guys down. I understand, like, for him not showing up and not getting the playbook, everybody's getting fucking all crazy and fucking. But listen, if he comes out like week one, performs, that'll turn my opinion around in more of his favor. But I get last year, like I get people's frustration because last year he came in and everybody was blaming Garrett and blaming the coaching staff for not playing him early. But listen, when you don't understand the playbook and you're a rookie and you need time to learn it, you're not going to play in the beginning of the year. I'm sorry. No matter if you're a first round, second round, third round, whatever, you're not going to play. So listen, hopefully he gets it. Hopefully he becomes a star in New York. And, I mean, he's got the talent, man. There's no doubt about that.
Every single thing you said is 100% accurate. He's got the talent for sure. What he showcased and, limited time on the field was, superstar caliber production, like just highlight reel, a fucking play type of player. So if there's a way that his maturity can catch up to his skill in this town, he will be Odell Beckham again. Basically, that's what it'll be. But hopefully somebody can get in his ear now while he's still a younger kid. He's probably 23, 24 years old. Like he's still a kid.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he may not even be that old.
22.
What I did like is the fact that he got called out. Someone must have gotten his ear and made him show up because he made the decision not to come. Then all of a sudden, these trade rumors come out, and whether it was him saying, like him genuinely fearing being traded from New York. His agent saying, "Listen, you're in New York. You're in a good market. You're going to get traded somewhere else, and it could potentially ruin your career." Look at Odell Beckham. I mean, he just won a Super Bowl, but if he had gotten traded anywhere else, that story is way, way, way different. So the 1 in 30 chance that you're going to get traded to that, whatever. It tells me that he ended up showing up. It tells me that either he himself had a little bit of like a epiphany, awakening, or whatever, but more likely he's got somebody that's got his best interest, whether it's just the brand of Kadarius Toney or the football player Kadarius Toney, whatever it is, got his best interest in mind, maybe a little more so than Odell Beckham did at the same age. So we'll see what happens this year. He goes off and has 1,200 yards, 13 touchdowns, make plays all over the field. No one's going to give a fuck about him showing up to anything.
Maybe it was
If
teammates.
he doesn't, what happened?
Maybe it was his teammates that kind of like got him in the building.
Yeah, listen.
Who knows?
No, listen. You know what? I can't think of what day it was last week. It might have been like Thursday or Friday. It was one of them days, right? Where Kenny Galladay was noted for coming out to this voluntary practice. Might have been Wednesday or Thursday of last week, where he was tweeting out. He was putting out these. He was like, "Yo, I'm out here because we got to get this right. Shit is not right from last year." Barkley's like, "I need to make a point. We know Jones has been there, first in there, last out type of mentality." And then all of a sudden, you're gonna have this kid just kind of chilling. Yeah, maybe they did. They kept that shit in the locker room type of thing. Where they were like, "Bro, we're all here. We're all busting our ass. We're all going on the media telling people that we're here busting our ass. You need to come in. Come in and lift some motherfucking weights. Get a playbook. Meet the staff. This is a different year. We're focused." So you mix that in with some of the trades. I mean, look, you're right, John. You mentioned that. Odell. He could be like an Odell. And Odell, listen, Odell went to Cleveland and looked like his career was done. He got a second chance because Robert Woods got injured, and he went over to the Rams. Sure, he won a Super Bowl, but he didn't play in that Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like, so
you still need a quarterback.
Yeah,
wide receiver still needs them.
And look, you know what? The Rams, what did they do instead of re-signing Odell? They went out and got fucking what's his name from fucking Chicago? I can't even think.
Allen Robinson.
Yeah. So they're not even that convinced on him. So you don't even know where Odell's going to be in 2022. So you're right. You know what? Look, you go to those type of teams. Apparently, Shane has just been shopping everything and everyone and anyone just to hear, and see what he would get in return.
Smart.
And obviously, he didn't like what he was getting. He really didn't. For what the rumor mill was saying was it was somewhere around like a mid-round pick, and you're not going to give up your first-round pick from last year for like a third-round pick this year. Like that. That's ridiculous. Not now. If the kid busts again,
there's something he did that now you're forced almost, like with DeAndre Baker, a situation like that.
Yeah, right.
You got it, just because of the social pressure, you have to get rid of the guy, but then he can just go off and play well somewhere else. And
right, he didn't kick a bitch's teeth in. You know what I'm saying? You keep him here. Yeah. I ain't giving away a fucking first-round draft pick. No, my boy's staying, man. I'm getting his fucking jersey. I don't give a fuck.
Like I said, that even as much as I have, and look, to me, this year's Giants team, without a doubt, has quite a few guys that got to prove it. Tony's still going to be around no matter what happens to him this year because he's going to still be only in his third year. He's going to be cheap to keep around. He's here. That's it. So just having him come in today, it's a relief in my eyes. At the very least, we now know that this dude is there. He's at least making an effort. That's all I want to see. Like, the dude doesn't have to be coming out smoking it and lighting shit up in some stupid voluntary practice. I just want to see him lifting a few weights with his friends that are teammates and running a couple of patterns with Daniel Jones. That's it. That's all you got to do. Then you go home and go party, whatever you want to do. Like,
I like what you said, Jules. I like what you said, man. You said that should be the tagline for the Giants this coming year. Is like, gotta prove it. Because you're right. There's a lot of them. And you know what? I could get behind a team like that got to go out there and fucking prove it and try to prove everybody wrong, man. Let's get behind them. Giants Nation, Giants fam. Stop bitching about everything, man. Let's get behind this fucking team. Word up.
Crazy. And then here we go with this this smoke screen type of shit, or just literally, it don't matter if the right deal comes across between now and Thursday or Thursday night or over the weekend. Shane's gonna pull the fucking trigger. There is no doubt in my mind, because now the latest person that's being shopped around is Darius Slayton. They literally was trying to shop him hard today. So it almost seems to me, and I don't know, maybe this is a possibility here. Who knows how these trades work. But once we get around, and obviously we're going to get into this in a little more depth in a few when we go over the draft. But to me, like, what would be the worst idea if the Giants end up like trading that 7th pick with a player and trade back or something? But because they traded that player, maybe they get that team's first round this year and a second round and maybe a first round again next year. But that team's getting like the 7th pick, Bradbury or Slayton, and they're getting a few extra players now that kind of compensate for that next pick. I don't know. These are just some of the things that you could just see that this regime of Joe Shane and Dable are at least open, and they're looking to do things. They're not looking to sit on their asses. They're not sitting on their hands. Offensive line was a problem. They went out and signed 4 of them. 4 offensive linemen have been signed already, and we're talking about drafting one in the top 5. Like, dude, you want to talk about going after and fixing the line? The line may not be perfect this year. No one's saying that this offensive line is going to go out, even if we go and get this right tackle, and we'll obviously get into all the guys we like. And if you listen to the show, you know who we've been talking about like crazy. But with all that said, the line's going to be better. All right. You don't go out and sign 4 veteran linemen, have a couple of guys there, a guy you drafted in the first round a couple seasons ago, guys coming off of injury, and you might still take one in the first round and not think that line is better. All right. I'm not saying they're going to go out, they're going to be all Pro Bowlers, they're going to be a top 5 offensive lineman tomorrow, but at the very least, that shit's going to be a better in the middle of the pack. I'll put that much out there. So, you see all these things going on and all this small screen and anybody be traded. Dude, they're looking to make moves. They are looking to fucking make moves that aren't to try to get the Giants better for 2023, but to actually build something with this team. At least that's the direction I see coming.
Did you guys watch Joe Shane's press conference last week?
I seen it, yeah.
Yeah.
When they were talking about Bradbury, I got the sense that I don't think that he wants to trade him. Like, just the energy that I felt like the way he was answering stuff, like he'd be open to it, but like if it was worth it only. Like, he's not just going to get rid of him to get rid of him.
He might not have to, but he might not
That's what
want
he said.
to.
He don't have to get rid of him.
But I think I really think he might have to. That's why Bradbury's like stayed away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't blame him either for doing that.
No. Listen, honestly, if I was in Bradbury's shoes, where it's like, yes, you realize that it's nothing personal at this point in time, it's straight business. The contract that you have on the books is just not gelling properly with what this team's direction is looking to do and what they need to do to fit in this new rookie class that's going to be coming in a few days. So, with all that said, he gets it. You know what I mean?
I like Bradbury though.
This deal wasn't like it wasn't structured in the way it was, he would probably still be here. I mean, look, if they could restructure him like they did Shepard, like they did Martinez, they would. And he would. He's that type of guy. You know what I mean? But unfortunately, it looks like he's just in like one of those cut casualties that you constantly hear about in the NFL. And I think that's what may happen to Bradbury. It's unfortunate. I'm not saying I want to see the guy go, because like if you think about it, for the most part, except for where you go with like Logan Ryan and that situation, Shane's been trying to keep majority of these guys intact. Like, yeah, fine, Hernandez was gone, but we knew that was going to happen. We knew Ingram was going to go. Certain cuts were just obvious, more so than others. But like for the most part, some of those big signings, we tried to work around it. Obviously we're stuck with Galladay. Obviously we're stuck with Leonard Williams, but that's fine. And then they're making it work off of those guys. And if you got to trade a Slayton, trade a Bradbury, move little pieces, you are. Because look, I'll tell you this, guys, and this is something I'm really wanting to hold on to. And I'm going to repeat it again, but I'm going to actually release this. This is the first time I'm saying this right now. And you guys are going to go fucking off the wall probably about it, but that's okay. I can almost guarantee you that next year Saquon Barkley will not be a New York Giant. You heard that here first. All right. I'm fine. I don't care what he does. He can go for 1,900 all-purpose yards and score 15 touchdowns, have 95 catches. I'm telling you, he is not going to be a Giant in 2025. I'm just 2025.
You want to go first, John?
You can franchise tag him for like a reasonable amount of money. If he goes for 1,900 yards, scores 15 touchdowns, you're going to tell him you're not going to pay him on a 1 year fucking just 1 year. We got to give him $10-12 million in a salary cap that's going to be like 240 by next year. Why wouldn't you do that?
There's not much he could do with that franchise tag if we do set that for him. That's probably the only way we keep him, though, in my eyes. Because
right, that's why you would keep him. You can even you franchise him, try to work out a contract. If he goes, even if he figures out a way to get 1,500 yards, 1,900 is a fucking monster season.
That is
1,500 yards. They're still most likely going to franchise tag him.
You guys got to look at this. You got to look at this too a little realistically as well. All right, you're right. they could franchise tag. That would be a move there that the Giants could probably sustain with a cap hit and everything else. Because then the reality becomes this. Are you really going to give another big contract to a 27-year-old, often injured running back after you franchise tag them the next following year? He's kind of
You don't
done.
have, you may not have to do that though.
I don't think
You
he's
don't have
gonna,
to pay him what other people will be willing to pay him.
Yeah, that's exactly that's my point, John. I don't think the Giants will go break the bank for him. I think they like him enough, and Barkley likes the organization enough that I think they could work out some kind of deal. But I will give Jules obviously, Jules, I want Barkley to stay. You know that. I name my fucking I
It's
name
not
my
a matter
dog
of want
Barkley.
anymore. It falls really good with the
he's-
whole Bradbury situation.
He's the heart and soul of the Giants team. He's the face of the franchise, basically. But I will give you this. If the Giants go in this draft and they draft James Cook in like the third round, where I could actually really see that as a possibility, especially if they decide to trade back from the seventh and get an extra couple late round picks. I could see James Cook being that guy on the Giants, and he's electric and no joke. I mean, he could actually replace Barkley. So I could see that as Barkley not being the long-term answer, especially with this new regime. But hey, listen, man, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, man. I'm hoping that's not the case, but shit.
It's just like I said, when you talk about things like you see Bradbury and you hear about him going out there and you realize that Saquon is going to be 26 this season. And then again, like you said, we could save him and we could keep him for that one more year with the franchise. That does make a lot of sense. But then he's 27 with a guy that's like, what, maybe you got 2 years of health out of him now? And you're really going to now give him a nice contract at 27 years old? I know I would be happy with that.
If he's 27 years old, right, and you can franchise him again, but make him 28 years old, whatever. But if he's 27 years old, he's a productive player. You got to remember, he's 27 years old, but out of the 48 possible games that he could be in as an NFL player, he's only played like 30 of them. So he doesn't really have the same wear on the tires as maybe another player of his same age. Now, he's dealt with injuries that he's had to come back from, but he really was one major injury that kept him out for basically an entire season. That's why it's felt so dramatic. I mean, missing a couple of games here and there, that's par for an NFL player. Like the average player does not play a full 16 in the next 17 game season. That's why when people talk about Eli Manning's Hall of Fame case, the fact that he never missed any time, it's such an anomaly that is put as a reason why he's going to be in the Hall of Fame, other than beating Tom Brady twice and Bill Belichick twice. That's going to be like the third line on his fucking plaque. Played 210 straight games. So you're talking about a game that you have injuries, and at that position you're going to have injuries. So the bar isn't for him to play 16 clean games. It's the bar is to get him out there, 13, 14 games, make a huge impact in those games. For $20 million, you can have Saquon average over the next 2 years, no strings attached. I just don't see why you wouldn't want to do that. And at that point, 27 years old, you're not going to be given a $20 million a year contract, most likely. It'll be in the teens somewhere, and with the way the salary cap's going up, because of the TV deals will be kicking in at that point, 2024, even more so. If they want Saquon, they can keep Saquon. That's the way it is.
They definitely could.
Look at what the Rams do. They get everybody, and they can fucking sign every fucking name in the book. Apparently, they don't believe in salary caps. It's John's right, though. Whatever, if you really want the player, you could get the player. So I don't believe in salary cap bullshit.
And again, to me, it's more along the lines of if New York would want to really keep him. And I understand from a fan base that we want him. But you got to keep in mind, too, look at some of the great running backs that have come through in the last, I don't know, say 20 years or so. LaDainian Tomlinson didn't play his whole entire career with the Chargers. This guy's a Hall of Famer. He didn't play that. Adrian Peterson didn't finish his career in Minnesota.
Played everywhere.
Right? Come on. Are you kidding me? I mean, bro, I can go on. The only person that may have a shot at it currently is Ezekiel Elliott. I don't think he's going to end up going anywhere. He's probably a Cowboy for life unless he really just tries to extend the back end of his career type of thing and starts bouncing around on certain teams. Bro. But dude, Emmitt Smith didn't finish a Cowboy. Dude, I go on, man. It's a regular thing. It's a regular thing. I mean, the LaShawn McCoy. But LaShawn McCoy, great in Buffalo, but great on the Eagles, then great on Buffalo, right? You have all these really talented, high-level first-round running backs. Leonard Fournette's on his Marshawn Lynch. I mean, it goes on and on. So that's why when you put it all together like you're currently seeing, and especially the points that Mike made with the fact that we may go out and get like a Bryce Hall or a Cook or somebody like that, where if that guy comes in and he looks good as a rookie, there's no reason to spend the money. You go spend that money elsewhere and make the team even that much better because you have this young guy who's now only 23 who's running just as good. That's the problem with the running back position. It's unfortunate, but true. They need to make it a little different for these guys.
I don't know, man. I don't think that you're getting a Saquon Barkley talent in round 3.
Yeah, but
there's
you know what?
There's a reason why
honestly
he was automatic a top 3 pick at running back.
But this is what I gotta say honestly. After watching him intently last year, and everybody could give me that, he's coming off of an injury, and then he had that fluke with the ankle and this and that. Do I think he's going to be better than he was last year, this year, barring any injury? Yes. But do I think I'm going to see the same explosive Saquon Barkley that we saw as a rookie? No, absolutely not.
No, Jules, we started to see it. We started to see it in the New Orleans game. And then all of a sudden, next week against Dallas, he sprained his ankle, and then we didn't see it. It was only straight line speed. We started to see it.
Say you get 90% of rookie year Saquon Barkley for the next 4 years.
I'll take
2 of those years, you're paying $10 million, $12 million, $13 million, $14 million. Salary cap's going up for 90% of what Saquon was for 4 years. You're going to tell me that
90's asking a lot, man. 90's asking a lot.
Thunder and Lightning.
85, that's still tremendous.
Bring back Thunder and Lightning, bro. We need running backs.
That's still a tremendous running back. Yeah, that's a tremendous talent to have.
Right. But the problem is that these kids come out of college all the time now. You know what I mean? And like you have like the next man come out of college all that's the time, hungry and looking to take look who led the league in rushing last year. Jonathan Taylor was what, in his second year? I mean, dude, that's it, guys. Next man up, dude. And these type of running backs, they know they only got a short window. They come out like bowling balls, and they're barreling through that shit because they know they only got a few years to eat. Not like these prima donna wide receivers that'll hold out at 28, 27 because they still got to play for another 5 years, and then that's when they all get paid. And quarterbacks who just get paid for life. All right, running backs got to eat early, man. And if they don't, it's like And look, in all honesty, if we're really that much of a fan of Saquon Barkley and you really like him and you want to see what he can do, we're not winning the Super Bowl this year. I don't care. All right, guys. We can make bets on it before the season starts. We can throw $50 on seasons or some shit and let it ride. But like the reality is that shit ain't gonna happen. If he's got a chance to go play on a contender, I'd let him. You know what I'm saying? Where he could really help a contender win. I would love to see that happen. I don't know if it will, but you know what? It's there.
We're winning the Super Bowl. I don't give a fuck. Jules, you're crazy. Right. Can we move off Saquon Barkley, man, the generational talent that only comes out once every 10 years?
Yes.
Can we move on from him?
Move off of him, please. Yes. And we're gonna move out the way. I think we got to introduce your new segment here, but I know you want to take a commercial break. So Mike, I'll let you lead this off.
All right, so we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back on the BBO NYG podcast, but we're going to come back with an interesting new fucking segment called the Haters Club. We'll be right back. All right, we are back on the BBO NYG podcast. I'm Mike, that's Jules, that's Sean. So, guys, we're debuting a little segment here. I'll go this week, and then you guys got to come up with some names from Giants Twitter. It's called the Haters Club.
Welcome all you ignorant ass bitches, critics, complainers, disgruntled rappers, and racists especially, to the 9th annual International Player Haters Ball. Oh man, hate.
We all seen this Chappelle show. Hate. So,
hate.
So me, Jules, and John, we get a lot of hate and debate. I'll be honest, sometimes we'll tweet at something and people don't agree with the tweets and they come at you. Sometimes somebody else will tweet and John and Jules will go after them hard. You know what I'm saying? So it happens. You know what I'm saying? And I do too sometimes. So now I'm going to shout guys out that we all seen on Giants Twitter that came after me. So guys, I'll shout it out right now, man. I'm going to go with 2 guys that came across my timeline fairly recently. The first one is Woody Wood at Woody Wood 2121 and Corey at
Well, let's start right there right now. So what did Woody Wood really do
well,
to deserve a mention on this show?
Well,
because
Jules,
obviously, Mike, I'm gonna just elaborate real quick.
These two tie in though. These two tie in. Let me just say.
They do now.
Let me just say his name because they were in the same group text. Corey is at Coriega4. All right, Jules.
Gotcha. Yes.
Oh,
So
fuck
like
that
the
motherfucker.
real thing is with all this kind of shit is that we know it, we call it out, we even say it to them out there in the Twitter world. That a lot of times people will just hide behind these accounts. There's even a couple of guys out there that I'm not going to name this week. I'll save it for later on for other weeks to come. But I think they have their own burner accounts that they'll come at me with like 5 followers and shit. And this thing is like such crap, right? But meanwhile, it's been in existence for like the last 2 years, but it's got 5 followers, right? So like they have these accounts. So the thing and the point of this is to let you know how ridiculous it is for those of you who don't get involved with this. And secondly, and more importantly, especially in the next few months between now and preseason and the season, we want these guys to come on, because we would not want to be that type of show that literally sits back and says, well, you know what? No one's allowed to have their opinion. And oh my God, our opinion's so right. That's why we hate on them, because that's the absolute complete opposite of what it is. And if you're that strong-minded and you really feel that confident about this opinion, you are more than likely welcome to come on this show and actually debate it and actually put it out there, put it into words. Now where you're sitting there writing it down and make sure there's not a typo and you text it from your couch or some shit like that. Actually on the show, video face to face, and we let it all out. So Mike, sorry, got a little long-winded there. You knew it was gonna happen at some point in the show. So Woody Wood and who else now again?
Well, Jules, I knew you were going to talk. That's not a shock on this podcast, but yeah. So basically, like we like to hate and we like to debate as well. So this is what started the little hate and debate on my timeline not too long ago. So basically, this is my tweet after responded to some guy about Giants draft or whatever Giants draft picks in the past. So my tweet goes like this: Jerry Reese first rounders have been garbage ever since JPP. Even drafting OBJ, and people that know me know that I love OBJ. Okay. People that watch games with me, like I loved OBJ. Let's be honest. So I'll continue my tweet. Fans love his flashiness, but the pick should have been Aaron Donald, like most of us wanted, especially from the East Coast. We all watched Pittsburgh, play, in college. And, Aaron Donald went to Pitt, and we all seen those games around here. We seen what he was going to be a beast. Giants historically been about their defense. That's how you draft. You draft to fucking a defense, get a sick defense here in the Giants. It's been lacking. I understand Giants had players at the time, but listen, guys like Aaron Donald, like they were mentioned like, oh, he's like a little bit too short or whatever. Stop it, man. He was a beast in college. Everybody knew it. I think he should have been the pick. And that's no knock on OBJ, but Woody Wood came at me with this response: why do you still give your opinion? No one takes you serious. That's kind of fucking mean, Woody Wood 2121. And then Corey responded right after that. He's like, LOL, I can't believe he said that. So basically, like if you know Giants Twitter, like if there's any OBJ conversation, that guy Corey is involved in every single one of them, good or bad. I like debating them, whatever, but it's actually kind of fun. And then Woody Wood came after me, and he kind of got really negative. He said, "Go away, you MAGA dick rider." So I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't know what a MAGA dick rider is. So I had to post it and like, does anybody know what a MAGA dick rider is? And then somebody DM me and it's like, oh, like saying you're like a Trump supporter. So I'm like, dude, first of all, if you clown, I'm like, I did vote for Trump the first time around. Then the second time around, I'm like, I voted for Biden. I'm not going to lie. And because I felt like the world needed to change, but I was wrong because now I'm paying to go to work. I'm paying all fucking gas. And then just to get home, I'm paying even more gas. So it's like I'm working for fucking free. The cost of living is outrageous, but that's for a fucking other podcast. All right. So basically we're all fucking, yeah, for the Mix It Up podcast later on. So then I'm going debating these guys. And I just like, I mean, that's hate right there. Call me a MAGA dick rider, but you don't even know me. You're just looking at my profile and the color of my skin. So he came off with like a little racist tweet But I got to give Corey credit. He had my back a little bit. He's like, yo, dude, he's not one of the guys that came after us. I guess he had MAGA dick riders go after them too. And he was confused to be, he was confused to be with one of them. And I'm like, dude, I'm like far from that shit, man. But you know, shout out to Corey. I know he's been involved in a lot of crazy shit, you know, with us and our Giants Twitter or whatever. But yeah, he posted some kind of fucking room. And you know, this dude loves OBJ. He has like a shrine, no joke, of OBJ shit. And it's like, if you look on my favorites list on my at my trainer MFT, you could see like he has like shelves of OBJ fucking helmets, autograph, fucking frames, glove. Like Jules, you see my war room. Like I'm telling you, I kind of want to go over there, bring like a fucking 12 pack or a case of beer with me, and just watch the game over that fucking dude's house, because there's shit everywhere of OBJ, man. He must have literally cried when OBJ fucking got traded, man. Like, you know, so that's my shout out for the introductory into the Haters Club. Woody Wood and Corey, you made it into the Haters Club. Hate,
Say something while I'm talking.
You know what,
getting
Mike,
shot.
I think
Please
the
do
reason
that.
I elaborate this on a little longer too is like we could turn this into a hate or debate, right? So like if we have people actually let us know and DM us or message us, or even if you're watching on YouTube, you can just put a little comment on the bottom afterwards and say, you know what, maybe Wood is straight hate. He doesn't deserve to come on the show. But Corey seems like he might be a good debate. So, you know, for this week, I give the hate straight to Wood, and I give the debate to Corey. So that's what my hate and debate go for. I don't know about you, John.
I could agree with that.
Right?
I could agree with that. I fucking I've had wars with that kid, fucking Corey. So I mean, I feel you. I like that he stepped up and kind of just said, stuck up for you, Mike. I got, you know, there's a little like, you get like one little morsel, like little grain of rice, you know, like that little bit of respect for him, from that.
Hey, we all debated it. We all got into it with each other, man. It's all good fun, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, but that's just like a little segment I just wanted to kick off and try to get people, you know, communicating more on this Giants Twitter, man. And I don't know, maybe everybody will change. Maybe everybody will all love each other. There'll be no MAGA dick riders when the Giants are winning fucking 13 games a year. You know what I'm saying? Word up.
But that's the first
like
installment of hate or debate. So Corey, if you're listening, you are the first candidate to come on this show and have a debate. So as the weeks unfold, I know there'll probably be some more hate drawing up after this in a couple of days with the whole fucking draft coming to town. So you know, that kind of kicks us off into that. All right, guys, it is the final fucking time before we will be able to, obviously, until we're doing it on Thursday, a couple minutes before the pick. But here it is, man. Here it is. This is our last picks. What are you feeling? What do you think? Has anything changed? Are you guys exactly the same you were since January till now, as far as picks are concerned, and what you think the Giants should do?
I feel exactly the same way as I did, man. I feel like there's glaring needs on this team that you can knock out. You know, you can have a deadly 1-2 punch at 5 and 7. Just so happens that my lucky numbers in this planet are 57, and we have picks 5 and 7. I'm not saying that means anything, but I'm not saying it doesn't mean anything. We don't know yet. So I would love to see if I can pass rusher and an offensive lineman right at the top of the first round, man. Fucking, you know, Thibodeau and, you know, Icky, or however it ends up shaking out. I think it would be really cool to go into the season, having 2 tackles that you could be confident in, and also 2 pass rushers to be confident in. You have your 4 cornerstones on each side of the ball with, you know, Ojulari and, you know, Thibodeau. You have confidence that those 2 guys could be, you know, maybe grow into a really good pass rushing duo. And then, you know, Thomas with Icky, or Thomas with Cross, or whoever it is that they end up drafting at 7 or 5 or however it ends up shaking out. You got 4 cornerstones like that, man. That's something to be excited about. So whatever name fills in the blank, I guess I maintain the entire, you know, offseason. I don't give a shit what the name is. Just get the pick right. And if you can figure out a way to get those 2 positions filled with seriously high quality players, fucking sign me the fuck up right this second.
Mike, anything changed for you?
Man, I don't think anything's really really changed for me who I want. I mean, you know who I wanted.
Hamilton, right?
I want Kyle Hamilton, but the way the draft is shaping up, I could see the Giants because it seems like the top 4 picks now they're always changing. But
Oh, God.
I don't think the top 4 picks. I don't think they draft an offensive tackle in the top 4 picks. I think the Giants are going to have their choice of all 3 of them. To be honest,
Oh, yeah, gangster,
when number 5 comes around, and then like I mean, if they stay at 7, I could actually. I mean, obviously I want Hamilton, but I could see them going with Sauce. Sauce is the real deal, and if they get him and to team up with like Evan Neal, like I'll be pretty happy with that, to be honest. But like I said, I want the offensive tackle in the 2nd and 3rd round because I think there's a lot of guys that could compare and be on par with these 1st round talent. I'm just saying, and I would love for the Giants to go in a different direction, but where the smoke there's fire, it just seems like the obvious pick is going offensive line.
I think that if wait, Jules, hold on a second. I think if the pick is Sauce, I don't think it's gonna happen. If I'm gonna make a bet, if the pick is Sauce at 5 or 7, we'll go to a game next year, and I will hold up a sign that says it's sauce, not gravy.
I don't think it's going to be that
early bet so far before Thursday night kicks off because there will definitely be more before that's done.
I think the Jets actually take him at 4, to be honest with you. I think they take Sauce.
Well, here's my thing.
They do.
The only thing that's slightly changed, and again, it kind of ties into what I was saying a little earlier this evening with the smoke screen, right? You know, Bradbury, Barkley, Tony, now Slayton, all these guys are going to be traded, and no one's been traded yet, and there hasn't been any picks done. So the big news that's coming out is that the Giants are apparently in love with Charles Cross. Like, that's their guy. You know, you keep reading more and more into it. Apparently, he's the best pass blocker of the 3. I don't know how true that is. I mean, Neal seems like a stone wall, so I don't get it. But apparently, they say that he might have the edge in pass blocking, which is something we absolutely desperately need. So for me, the only thing that changed slightly is that if you tell me that we can get Thibodeau at 5 and that Neal and Icky are now both off the board by that 7th pick, I know I got Thibodeau at 5. I'll take a shot across with 7. Only thing that's changed with me. Only thing. And again, I'm still kind of like iffy about it. And again, it has to be that I get Thibodeau because honestly, I do not want to see the same mistake that was made that we did with Parsons. I made the excuses last year during the draft where I sat there and said, you know what, we got to know what we're doing. Judge is a good judge of character. Ha, ha, ha. And he was doing the right thing. And yeah, let's pass on it. And hey, we would not have this 7th overall pick had we not done it, right? So, you know, in hindsight, that's there. But guys, the real thing that I want to ask you really quickly about that before we continue on with this draft, if they do and they are that serious and this isn't a smoke screen, are you okay with that scenario where we have, like, say, Thibodeau at 5 and then Cross is number 7? We don't get an opportunity to trade back.
But you're describing my fucking dream scenario. Getting a pass rusher, and of course I'd be okay with it. That's exactly what I want.
Even with Cross, though, because now we're saying we're not getting Nicky, we're not getting Neal. You know what I mean? So
bro, you can call him fleshlight, you can call him fucking anorexia, you can call him whatever the fuck you want to call him. I want the good player, and they know what the guy's name is. I am in no position to say this guy's better than that guy or this and that. They just fucking spew bullshit for fucking 4 months. And then we find out afterwards that they had different opinions than they had before. And they write their articles bashing the fucking Giants for whatever they end up doing. And that's the cycle of the NFL. So I don't care who it is. If they're confident enough in the player to draft them at 7, Cross, fucking sign me up.
All right, Mike, any comment on that? That ends up being 5 and 7.
I don't really like Tibbs. I think he's got that attitude, man, and I think the Giants pass on him.
All right.
That's what I think happens.
All right, so now, guys,
replace it with Aiden Hutchinson.
Well,
I
don't think that happens.
Yeah, that's wishful thinking. We're gonna have to trade up for him, man.
It's too much to pass on because for Hutch to fall, he's got to fall past 4 teams, and I just can't see that happening. Here's why, right? He's still the favorite, and this is what I want to get into, and we'll get into that in a moment. But according to DraftKings, as of today, he is still the favorite to be the number 1 overall pick. All right. So you now have to take what Vegas is saying for a grain of salt, obviously, but that's also who they're riding as being the number one pick overall. In addition to that, you have a team that absolutely would look phenomenal with another outside pass rusher like they have there, and have him coming off with Josh Allen, right? With Jacksonville. So let's just say they did pass and they went, say, Trayvon Walker, who, by the way, is the second favorite to be the number one overall pick as of today. Okay. So a lot has changed in regards to that. We'll get into more of the odds and details in a minute, like we always do. And that's pretty much how we'll wrap things up for today. But with all that said, you then have to go to Detroit, who I get it. Some people are digging a rumor and putting a quarterback there and all these kind of things. But to pass on a hometown favorite, a guy that grew up in Michigan, and you're going to pass on him at number 2? Like, it would just be like ridiculous on a defensive line who hasn't gotten off after the quarterback in I don't know how many years in Detroit. Okay, he gets by Detroit. Then what? He's going to go Houston and the Jets are both going to pass on him? No fucking shot in hell, dude. That's why I cannot see Hutch landing to the Giants. Like, it's just an absolute bullshit fabrication with that. But that's just my take on it.
He's gonna have to get a gas mask and smoke some weed and shit. And fucking the day of the draft for him to slip.
Yeah,
It's fucking legal in Jersey now, baby.
If I'm the Giants, I give him $1 million to do that shit. I don't give a fuck.
Laramie Tunsil.
You know what I'm saying?
All right, so guys, since we love gambling, right? And we always talk about these kind of things. According to DraftKings, as of right now, the number one overall pick favorite is Aiden Hutchinson at -200. So he's not like some wow crazy favorite, but still, you got to lay $200 to win 100. Like he's still a pretty high favorite for such a random type of thing. But the thing that surprises me is that Trayvon Walker is now the second to the highest rated, favorite at +190.
That's crazy.
So, I mean, you want to talk about a turn of events here that have been going on. I mean, you're right, guys. I could see where we're at a certain point in time that maybe there are a few tackles that we get a choice between. I honestly think that both Cross and will be there. And when I say end will be there, I'm meaning that I think either Icky or Neal will be there at 5. I got that kind of gut feeling. I really, really, truly do. Because like you guys are saying, I mean, if they keep talking up this Trayvon Walker as much as they are, and the possibility of a quarterback sneaking in, and then you have, Hamilton, you have Sauce, you have the tackles, you have fucking Thibault, like, yeah, someone's gonna fall to us at 5. Like it's kind of shaping up that way. But yeah,
that's what happens. You take a 5, bro. You get a great player.
Yeah,
and the same thing with 7.
Yeah,
you
5
get a
and
great.
7.
You have the potential to get a great player. Like the odds are in your favor if you have a good idea of what you're doing. You should be able to get somebody who's very, very, very good, regardless of the position.
Well, and then obviously the third favorite to be the number one overall pick is now Icky, and that goes all to +1,200. So you got Aiden Hutchinson at -2, and you got Walker at +190, which maybe they're trying, Vegas is trying to get you to hedge their bets between those two names, because literally after that, it's Icky and Evan Neal. So this is definitely going to be something that I'll obviously double check again when we get to Thursday and we're get ready, because I'm very curious to see how much this line changes before, if it's not announced sooner.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, like with this first round pick, the number one overall, I should say, to me, I don't see anything I would bet on. Mike, I don't know about you. Like to me, like I really feel Aiden's is the pick, and he's going to probably be the pick, but I'm not putting 200 to win 100. You know what I'm saying? Like that's bullshit.
Well, as MC Hammer once said, you can't touch this. So I ain't fucking putting no money on this fucking thing, man. I don't want to fucking lose some fucking dough on this. I love I love the dough more than you know. So stay in my pocket.
Well, here's where things get a little more fun. If you go to the number 2 overall pick, right? And here's Detroit's pick. The number 1 favorite. Any guess?
It's got to be Aiden.
Nope. Because they got Aiden going 1. So now this is Detroit on the clock with the, if the favorite went, Aiden went first. Detroit's on the clock.
I mean, I want to say Walker, but it's got to be offensive tackle, right?
Nope. It's our boy Thibault. Thibault is the favorite to be the number 2 overall pick as of today. He is +135 with that number 2 pick. It's a little tighter because Aiden Hutchinson is still there at +200. And then Trayvon Walker's there at +275. And then Malik Willis is +950. and then it starts to get even crazier.
Wow.
But yeah, out of all of them, Fibbo is the favorite to go number 2 right now.
Wow.
I feel like the most comfortable with him as a pick, especially at 7, because he's one of the few guys that was talked about before last season. That like he's somebody to watch out for, in 2 years from now. Like he was already almost not say a household name, but he was already on people's radar as a premier player. And then that only held true straight through the season and now into the offseason, which at this time of year, when you're getting so close to the draft, now you got teams, maybe 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 like that, maybe trying to like ruin a guy's image in a sense, tarnish it a little bit. So that way, maybe he falls a little bit to them. I don't think that's past any team to do something like that. Say, oh, he's got a little bit of attitude problems, this and that, ends up falling in the draft a little bit. I wouldn't put it past. I'm sure that's happened. Especially if there's a little bit of something there. I don't know exactly what the story was. What did he do again?
Yeah, I don't know. It's his attitude problem, and he doesn't take the game
fuck
serious.
That shit, yeah.
Unless he did something. That shit. We got Kadarius Toney. He wants to be a rapper. He even showed up to voluntary practice. So obviously we know how to handle this situation. Tibbo's a good pick. That's it. Going number 5. But here's where I think, and I have to agree with these odds. This is where I think we lose our first lineman, because when Houston goes, it's Icky at plus 200 to be the number 3 overall pick. With at 200, with Neal at 300, and then your boy Sauce Gardner at plus 450. And these are all plus 200, plus 300, plus 450, and Trayvon Walker at plus 500. So to me, I think one of the tackles gets taken there. I could see Houston doing it, trying to really rebuild. You put a cornerstone left tackle there. You have the choice of these 3 guys that everybody's been talking about, and you just lock it up. I totally think that's where one of these guys is going to get taken and lost as an option for the Giants. Now, which one? I don't know. Look, Neal at 3-1 is not a bad bet, Mike. And if you think about it, Icky's 2-1, but Neal at 3-1 to be the first tackle off the board with Houston, that's not terrible, man. I might throw a little action on that. I'm not sure yet.
I'm definitely not gonna bet any of this, but actually, I want to ask you guys a question, and Jules, I want you to like see if they have odds for it. Which I want to see, like, I'm going to give you my wild card. I want a wild card from each one of you guys at either 5 or 7. It don't matter. Okay. That nobody's talked to about the Giants. I'm going to give you mine. It's Jameson Williams, wide receiver, Alabama. Dude, I think this dude has the potential to be like a superstar in this league. You know how like Chase came in and just fucking helped Burrow out, fucking go to the fucking goddamn Super Bowl. Like Jameson Williams, I know he's coming off the injury, but like that dude is fucking nasty. And I tell you, man, at 7, or if maybe like a little trade back, we get an extra pick and we get him, I'll fucking take it, man. I'm not going to lie. That's my wild card, man. Do they have odds for that, Jules?
So you said if he was taken at number 7.
5 or 7, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so go 7. Go 7.
If he's at 7, he's plus 3,000.
Oof. Man, now I kind of want to bet, not gonna lie.
Because to me, I think I would take the bet there at 7, right? Because I don't see him going at 5 or 6.
Yeah. Nah, no way.
And it's only 3,500, so you're only making that extra half a point on that, so it's not even worth it. You're better off waiting and making the play for the 7th pick to take him as a wild card at plus 3,000. John, what would be your wild card pick?
I don't really have one. I don't know.
Malik Willis.
Well, it's mine.
That's been
mine. I had a whole segment a couple of weeks back about that shit.
Is that who you're gonna go with, Jules?
Yes, but I'm gonna do the same thing you did, because believe it or not, they have Malik Willis at plus 2,000 for the 5th overall pick. Now, keep in mind he just has to go 5th. He doesn't have to
get traded.
The New York Giants,
yeah,
right? So the Giants trade out of that 5th spot, and a team looking for a quarterback jumps in, and Malik Willis goes there. He's currently 2,001. So that means if you bet $100, you win 2,000. I mean, it's worth a $50 bet, all right?
Yeah, right.
With $1,000, that Malik Willis ends up getting that number 5 spot. But you can actually double it up, right? Now, if you look at say Carolina, Malik Willis is plus 650. But him at that 5 or 7 spot, he is relatively 2,000 and 3,000 plus. So yeah, Mine would be Malik Willis, but oh gosh, I would honestly hedge it. I wouldn't put 100 on either. I'd put 50 on the 5 spot and 50 on the 7 spot and hope for it.
The fact that you guys would put money on this draft, you're great.
It just makes it more interesting, right?
Yeah, you're certainly correct. I mean, there's no denying that. It makes it more interesting.
But if you want to land and you want to look to see at the 5 spot, the top 4 names there at the 5 spot in order are Icky 1, and he is plus 300, so he's actually tied because Evan Neal is plus 300. So even Vegas is pretty much thinking that one of those 2 guys should follow us at that 5th spot. Now, whether or not we take them is another whole story. But guess who's third? Your boy Ahmad Gardner, aka the Sauce, is number 3rd to be picked there. Then Cross, and then Thibault.
Ooh.
So, a little surprise there with how the 5 rolls out.
Wow.
And then when you go to the 7th pick, you're looking at Gardner, Thibault, Neal, or Jermaine Johnson, Charles Cross. So it does get a little bit more interesting with that 7th pick.
You know what I would bet on? If Roger Goodell says Ahmad Gardner or Ahmad Sauce Gardner.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
I say he goes with Sauce. That's how
we have to say that this is gonna be our prop bets between the 3 of us come Thursday night.
Yeah, no doubt. We're gonna have that.
We're
live.
We're inside 72 hours now.
I got a couple I'll come up with for us for sure. You know what I mean? Maybe we'll even do something where one of us has got to do something crazy on the show at one point or something like that. We'll see how wild this thing gets on Thursday. Because we do. Any of you guys enjoyed this one? Listened last year, especially with us trading back. Things got a little crazy. Things got a little saucy, no pun intended. But definitely was a little wild and a little liquid flowing throughout the night. I'm not sure it's going to be to that extent again this year, but there'll definitely be some beverages. There'll be definitely some beer talk. I got a couple of, I am with my beers, so I got a couple of beers that I'll definitely try for the first time on air on Thursday between picks, just to keep the conversation flowing as we're getting ready, and it's not just all about us arguing over who should be picked and when they should be picked. But that's what we got stole. We got definitely some guests joining us on Thursday. We got a little collaboration with our buddies over in the UK. They should be joining us. So it's going to be a fun time. Look, if you want in, DM us, come on. We'll send you the link. Come on board. We don't care. The more, the merrier. If you just start acting more like a hater instead of a debater, you just might get put on mute for a little bit. That's all. Not a big deal. All right. But definitely, let's come on. Hopefully the draft is fun. Hopefully it's worth all the goddamn wait. It's finally here. We are hours away, days away.
72.
All right. And then we're going to be sitting here on Thursday night, we're drinking a few beers and talking about how much we either love or hate our picks. And from the past, I will not hold back. But that's going to do it for this episode here, folks. All right. We got the new segment. We got the draft on the way. We got predictions already made. Can't wait for Thursday. It's going to be fun. I'm going to lose my voice for sure. But until then, we'll see you guys later. Peace out. Have a good night.
Peace. No more mock drafts.